I recently got a comment on this channel from somebody named Josue Fernandez, presumably his name is just Josue Fernandez. And I actually found the comment to be really useful as far as like fuel to make a video. And I also think that his situation will have a lot of parallels to a lot of people out there. And so I could have just responded in a comment and answered just for Josue, but I thought if I respond in the form of a video, then I can help more people who will genuinely be in a very similar situation. Sound good? Let's get into it. How's it going, y'all? My name is Jesse Lynch. I run multiple real estate teams around the United States, and on this channel, I really want to help people who really don't want to take that classic, beaten, well-traveled road that so many people before them have done in real estate, and people who just want to shake things up a little bit. So if that's you, come hang out for a while, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified so you can see when these videos are coming out. And if that's not you, then I genuinely think that this channel, this video, is probably not for you, although maybe there's little nuggets in there that will be helpful for you. And if you're at all interested in working with me, whether joining my team, starting an expansion team, or just joining Real Broker, then go to my website, jesselynch.co. It's in the description and all that. And I'm actually just gonna read his comment right here because I can't memorize things, and what would be the point? So Josue Fernandez says, I just got my real estate license this week and I'm having self-doubt because I have driving me to become better and grind, but at the same time, I'm not really an extroverted person. But I do like talking to people, and I speak Spanish, and I'm working on becoming more fluent in English. And I always heard about how hard it is to become a successful real estate agent. So, first of all, thank you very much for the comment, and thanks for watching these videos. You know, you must have watched at least that one video, and I hope that some of how I see things, some of how I've managed to work my way to be in a successful situation, I hope that that can be helpful to you. But like really, first of all, you gotta get out of your own way. You have to get out of your head, right? Which as an introvert, it can be difficult to do, right? So we tend to spend a lot of time in our head. Whatever you're seeing or hearing or reading or whatever that's telling you that being an introvert is a negative thing in the real estate world, it's wrong. Okay. Yes, you'll see a lot of very extroverted people or people who seem like extroverted people being successful in real estate. But some of the agents that I know personally who are doing the craziest numbers, right? Who have teams that when you look at from the outside, you go, whoa, they're doing really well. Or solo agents who are selling so many homes that you wonder how they do it. So many of those people that I know personally are supremely introverted people. And I think that maybe there's a little bit of a special sauce in being an introvert, which is that you can spend time alone working on the stuff that really, really matters. And the fact that you're not distracted or that you're not sort of dwindling away as a human because you're not interacting and conversing with people, that's actually a very helpful aspect of your personality, right? The ability to close off a little bit, hopefully not on a negative level that it hurts you, but to close yourself off from the world and just spend time and do the work that matters. I genuinely believe that that is a benefit to you. And so I just want to get out of your way, get out of your head. That is not a negative thing, okay? Being an introvert, not a bad thing. I myself am genuinely quite introverted. I like to be around people, right? And I enjoy talking with people. I like to meet people. I think I could potentially even consider myself talented in a social aspect, but at my core, I'm deeply shy. There are certain things that I really, really cringe at that are just not where I do my best work as far as being extroverted goes. Showing up to a group of people and schmoozing. That is a nightmare for me. I'm really not good at it. I've talked about it on this channel in different situations, but I am not good at that. It's okay, right? It's a thing that I don't love to do. It's a thing that I actively try to get better at because it's one thing to be like talented at it, but I'd like to get more comfortable with it so that I don't have like anxiety around it, right? But even on this trip that we're on right now, which by the way, if you're still watching and you haven't seen another video where I talked about it, I'm on I think a 25-day European trip with my now fiance. We got engaged in Iceland. We started in Iceland then went to Amsterdam, went through Belgium. Right now I'm in France, I'm in Paris, in the Airbnb that we're staying at. It's adorable. They call it a 4th floor. It's a 5th floor walk up in, I think, the 11th, whatever they call it, the 11th neighborhood. And it's awesome. We only have a couple days left here, and then we go to Dijon, Paris, and then we go to Lauterbrunn in Switzerland, and really we're staying in the Wengen area of Switzerland, then Strasbourg, then back to Amsterdam, and then home. But there's been a few times in Paris where I have to approach somebody who probably doesn't speak English, and I have to say, bonjour, parlez-vous anglais, right? Or whatever, some bad version of that. And I find it, if there's a lot of people there who can overhear me, I find it very, very intimidating. And maybe there's a language barrier there. That situation, when there's an audience, I'm a little bit less comfortable in a large group setting. One-on-one, like if we have a server, let's say, and they walk up to our table, I have much less anxiety around that because it's just more personal, right? And there's something about the audience and probably something with my ego or something. I'm not sure what it is, but where when I can imagine that people are talking to themselves, about how bad I said something, or I don't know, whatever. It's like those are the things that are intimidating. But nonetheless, these social situations, going to a party, I've never liked going to a party with a bunch of people that I don't know. Anytime I ever did as a younger man, I always would be like, please tell me there's a dog or a cat here that I can be just chilling with, because it's just not my thing. I'm just not a schmoozer. And I think that's an extroverted quality that some people have that I just do not have. And so too, in real estate, there are things that I've never had to do, I've never done, but they give me the heebie-jeebies, right? To imagine having to do it, like a door knocking situation or a cold calling situation. Those kind of like sales approaches, man, they just seem like a nightmare to me. So I don't do them. And I figured out ways that I don't have to do them. So I think starting right now, Josue, and anybody who feels similar to Josue, let's just say introverted, wants to be successful. Again, there's a ton of very, very successful introverted people out there who are not necessarily that socially talented either. So I believe that for you and for myself, honestly, I think the reason that I've managed to find success in this is because I've practiced this one skill more than anything else, and this sort of one approach more than anything else, which is attraction, right? Which is finding a way to attract people to you. Because again, the thing to me, and I think the thing to a lot of introverts, is approaching somebody out of nowhere and talking to them. But if you can figure out a way to attract somebody to you and they can talk to you, I find that most introverts do a decent job of, it's not that they don't like people. Josue says he likes people, but it's that sort of like breaking the ice thing is a nightmare. And agreed, I'm right there with you. And so you figure out ways to attract people to you. You become a magnet for people, right? For your clients. I see it as either you have two options in front of you. Maybe there's a couple others, but you either have two options. One is to learn how to attract, right? Learn how to attract people to you. Make things inbound, right? Make the leads and the clients inbound, right? Where they are coming to you. And then it's a little bit less of like, sure, how can I help you? Or you have to get good at approaching, right? It's one or the other. And there are a lot of different ways to approach, but they all sort of are on you to strike up the conversation, even if sometimes that conversation is somebody being like, I don't want to be talking to you right now, which is probably my big fear with all that stuff, is that I'm approaching somebody who's like, get lost, right? I can't deal with that. I don't know. It's just not in me. So for one, learn to attract, which to me, content, video, even blog writing or anything, probably even marketing and billboards and things like that, more traditional aspects, that is all attraction, right? So one, learn to attract and spend all of your time figuring out how to attract. I think the people who are saying you gotta cold call, right? Or you gotta learn scripts and do these things, my opinion, they are not for you. There are a lot of people who they can help, who have that a little bit more naturally, but I believe that there's really, really great ways of building a brand that are based on attraction and getting people to come to you. Second, you say that you speak Spanish and you're working on becoming more fluent in English, which means, I assume, maybe I'm interpreting this, but means that you think your lack of fluency in English is maybe a detriment, right? Maybe it's a negative for you, which might be true. There might be some negative there in maybe navigating English conversations with other English real estate agents, English speaking real estate agents, or navigating contracts and things like that. That could be, that's certainly something that you should be working on, right? That's definitely a skill that you should be spending time on. I'm gonna say, regardless of where you are in the United States, there are fewer Spanish speaking real estate agents than there are English speaking real estate agents. And so my opinion is that should become your audience. You should lean into the fact that you have something that a lot of other people don't have. You can speak fluent Spanish. And so I think all of your content, most of it anyway, ought to be Spanish facing, right? Spanish language content, wherever you find it most appropriate. And so to determine where you find it most appropriate, I think first what you have to do is create a client avatar. I've talked about that a lot on this channel. I have a video on how to create a client avatar. I even will attach a worksheet below to help you create that avatar. And basically what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna reverse engineer based on the skill sets that you have and maybe the weaknesses that you have of being an introvert and needing to attract people. Then you need to reverse engineer, and I would reverse engineer, who do I want to be attracting? Who is that client who I want coming in, and who am I maybe potentially there available to help most effectively? And I would say that the very surface level of that avatar is going to be somebody who speaks Spanish better than they speak English, probably obvious, and has questions, okay, about the real estate process, right? They might be searching like how to buy a home in Spanish or Minnesota real estate, but they might be using Spanish language, hoping that they find a Spanish speaking agent. But then you also have to make sure that that avatar is somebody who watches content, right? Your avatar is not somebody who doesn't watch YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, right? Because even if there's a Spanish speaker out there who has a $2 million home for sale, but the only way that you're gonna reach them is by cold calling, they're not your client. But hopefully there are Spanish speaking clients out there who do watch content and have fewer chunks of content to choose from because there are fewer people doing it in Spanish language in the United States. And so lean all the way into the Spanish language videos. My opinion, you can still speak some English in those videos if you want, or you could also remake the same video, maybe not, script or whatever, but the same exact concept in English language, which for one would attract some people who maybe they're second generation Spanish speakers, right? And where they speak English primarily, but the fact that you are a Spanish speaker who is also speaking English, that might endear them to you as well. That may give you some credibility in their world. But if you're going to do that, I would make those two separate channels. And the beautiful thing is that you could A/B test those, right? You could do one channel in Spanish, one channel in English, make identical videos, put them out, and just see which one picks up traction the fastest. And try to sustain it for as long as you can sustain both, because maybe both will pick up traction, right? If you give them both enough time to steep, to linger, maybe both of them will pick up traction and it'll be an incredible combination of lead magnets for you. But maybe one will prove leaps and bounds better than the other, at which point you can just let the other go. If it's a Spanish language one, cool. No more English language videos, right? What I think the beauty of potentially doing both could be, it can also help you to practice the English, right? It can also help you to practice English language as it pertains to real estate as well, right? Because being fluent, in poetry, maybe that will matter in English, but being fluent in real estate will be, I think, much more helpful to you. And so make the one video in Spanish, create the video, sort of mold the video in Spanish, and then basically translate it for yourself to make the video in English. And again, I think that's a really great way to sort of get better at English, create an A/B test for lead magnets, get clients coming in, and potentially sort of expose the superpower that is the Spanish language proficiency that you have. So get on YouTube, that's my personal opinion, educate them or entertain them or both, right? Create content that is interesting and helpful, that works directly to your avatar. So figure out who that avatar is. Are they first-time home buyers? Are they relocation clients? Or whatever you might see. I could see quite a few bits of content that you can make in Spanish that I cannot make in English, right? Or maybe specific things to somebody who's a Spanish speaker relocating to an area where they might have different nuances in terms of their questions, right? And you might be able to be helpful on a totally different level than just, an English language channel about the same general idea would be. So get on YouTube, make content, be helpful, be entertaining, get better and better and better at being on camera. I have a lot of videos about this. Start with a phone, okay? You don't have to get crazy. I promise you, my quality has improved dramatically over the years, and I got my first client from a YouTube video that when I look back on now, I'm like, oh, what a bad video. But really quickly, I got a client because I was the only person making something around that idea, okay? So find a niche, make content about it. You've already found part of your niche, which is Spanish speaking. These are actually really helpful things for you, that they're what make you different. I say this all the time on this channel, but different is better than better. So you have the drive, you have something that makes you different, and you're now a real estate agent. So go get them. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.